Monday morning, and we're not going to the park home today because the weather just has not let up. It has rained constantly all night and all morning. So I've just dropped the kiddies off at school and I've got to head off to my meeting. So I've got 4 meetings to get to today. Boys aren't off, they've still got jobs to be doing. The guys are going to be tidying up the workshop. And in fact, why don't we jump over, I'll show you how they're getting on with it now, and then we'll cut back in and we'll head off to our little site meetings and I'll tell you about them as well. Right, that's the first visit done, and this was over in Scania in Bedford. And what we're doing here, they've got a new MOT lane to go in, but they have a 3-monthly inspection on the areas, and they needed to replace the line markings around the pit. So for this one, there's a couple of different products you can use. You can go for a 2-part epoxy, which will take around 18 to 24 hours per coat to cure, or you could go for an acrylic, which is a cheaper option, or you could go for a polyurethane, a polyspartic. In fact, there's so many different products you could use. We recommend just 3. They've gone for a mid-range product, which will do a fantastic job for them, to be fair, for what they're looking for. There's quite a considerable price difference between the mid-range and the 2 parts as well, to be honest. So it does really jump up in price when you go for the sort of it's a really lovely finish you get for the 2-part, and it lasts an awful long time, but it does come at a higher initial cost. We're off to the second meeting now. I'm actually on my way to Hemel Hempstead. That's about an hour's drive from here, and I'm desperately in need of a coffee. So hopefully the boys are getting on well with the yard cleanup at the moment. The next meeting I've got, in fact, the next meeting is actually for a chap who's on Dragon's Den. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. We've been here before. In fact, if we do a little cut back, I'll show you, we did the line marking there last year. These are the lines here. Let me try and show you the arrows, the lines that we've got down there, looking amazing. We didn't do the parking spaces, but we did all the arrows and bits on site. They're all looking really, really good. So that was Robert Dias, which is owned by Theo Paphitis from Dragon's Den. Anyway, we're back on site looking at the line marking there. I'm not allowed to film on site, but I'll be able to tell you about it once it's done. Back on the road again. We are next off to Soho Cash and Carry in Wolverhampton. The lines that we've got outside here, which are the line markings we installed last year. So we've got all the warehouse done, car park done. Yeah, they're still looking absolutely amazing, to be honest. Really, really happy with the finish on that. There's the walkway lines. Probably a little bit tricky to see actually from this angle. We're a bit far away. Arrows, the lines that we've got down there, looking amazing. We didn't do the parking spaces, but we did all the arrows and bits on site. Nice little job. Always back to be always good to be back with a repeat customer as well. Now, in other news, what else has been happening in the world of line mark? We are doing a job in Redditch at the moment as well. Nice little yard install using an acrylic to go down there, bit of grinding on the concrete to do as well. In fact, let's do a little cutaway. I'm going to show you exactly what the boys have been up to over in Redditch. So we are on site now at the Soho Cash and Carry, and all we're going to do, measure out, see what we're installing. Now I've just spoken to the customer to have a look at what we're installing, where it's all going to go. All right, So we're going to measure from here up to the far end over there. I'm going to recommend that we also go 3 meters wide because they've got vans as well as cars, or some large cars as well. So I reckon we go a little bit wider. So there we go, we've got 49 meters on that bit there. Now that's going to run both sides of our car park. So we'll have 49 meters to use, but we have got this roller shutter just here. So we need to not mark just in front of that. Now if we take out the emergency exit that we've got, so from the end of, let's say, this barrier, we'll take that line out there. That's another, we're going to call that 6 meters. It's 5.9, but we'll add 10 centimeters on, call it 5.6, because you never know, we could be slightly out. So we're done with the measure. All I'm going to do now is just grab a few pictures from site as well. Let's chuck this back in the car. Let's get a few images. What I also like to do, because we use an interactive video sort of quote system that has a few different options, I actually like to do a quick video for the customer while I'm on site, and I incorporate that within a video that I also create while I'm doing the quotes. I can talk them through the options, but also cut to an on-site edit like this, where I'll say this is where we're going to install the bays, etc, etc, etc. Then I'll have a few images, and then I'll talk through the paint options, warranty options, etc. on that video. We will have a single line that will run all the way along here as well, just for the lorries, and we'll have HGV only on the floor. We'll add a bit of text on there. What I will do though is I'm going to film this back up from the start just for the customer, create them their own fresh little video, and then we're heading off to the next site, which I believe, ooh, a steel fabricator. I was actually Alfreton. I don't know why I thought I was going to Stoke-on-Trent. Right, let's do a quick video for the customer, and then I've got to find a loo, then we'll head up to Alfreton. Do you know what? I actually don't think I've been into Wolverhampton for well over a decade. We are at the steel plant. It's very, very loud, but let me show you exactly what we're installing. So starting from here, we're going to have a driveway coming down with the lines on the outline. That's going to guide the lorries up toward the roller shutter that we've got on here. Then on this side, coming from the stairs, there's a walkway that's going to come down here. That'll go alongside the lorry lines that we've got in. We'll get to a giveaway junction on this side here, and then the walkway itself is actually going to end just as we get to the edge of the roller shutter here. We've then got another walkway inside. It's going to come through the door out this side here, along in front of these skips that you see, and then it's going to go all the way along to the very end of the warehouse. Let's have a quick look down and I'll show you what it's like. The walkway is going to run towards the door that we've got just along here, and then back over this side, just up to refit the hatch lines that we've got along here, so we can remark this area in as well. And that's it. Nice little job up in Alfreton. Start hopefully in about 8 weeks' time. We've got a bit more time on our hands. These guys make skips for just about everybody. Let's get back in the car. I think we've got 2.5 hours drive. Very noisy. Let's turn around, let's get on the road. We've got a 2.5 hour drive home. In fact, let's chuck it in. Yeah, nice little job. Anyway, I think that's just about it for Monday. It has been a long day, a lot of time in the car today, and apologies. Anyway, that's it for Monday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a good day. Bye. Bye. Tuesday morning, and we're on the school run. Today, I think we are out for breakfast, which is a little ritual of mine. We're off to the Kino of Corby, which is, it's actually called something else, but there's a Kino in Kettering where we used to go to when we had an office there. We moved to Corby, and the same company owns another place there, but it's got a different name, so we just call it the Kino of Corby. And then I think it's a day of sales meetings in the office for me today. So yesterday was a long day on the road, 330 odd miles, I think, by the time I was done. Today, hopefully, it's just school run, back for breakfast, and then straight to the office. And I think I've got a few back-to-back meetings till about 2, go for a haircut, call it a day. Nice, easy day for a Tuesday. Let's hope nothing else happens, no drama, nothing unexpected. Catch up a little bit later on. Back to my little office. So I've got a meeting in about 10 minutes, not even that, 5 minutes time. So I'm going to quickly get online on a Zoom call, go through a project with... Okay, managed to get out for breakfast, met the guys at the keynote Corby. Right, bring that over, bring that over. Yeah.
I don't want someone that can go, oh yeah, I can come tomorrow. That's why I always
but
make
you would
a
do
point.
if you also... So when we do our quotes, they actually take quite a bit of time to put together. You see, I always record a video for the customers and I embed it within my quotations. It takes a little bit of time, but I feel that I get a really good finish. Let me show you, so I recorded that part there. That was on site yesterday at a job where we quoted, I sort of talk through the install, and then what I do is I record, all of it gets embedded within the quotes. They've got a video they can play within the quote, but I have to then make it with another video, and I sort of blend two of them together in Premiere Pro. So I'll open up another bit of software like this. So I'll then import that into here. So what I'll do, if I can drag that video in, drag it onto my timeline, and then what I'll do is I'll record another video on my screen now talking through the options on the quote, and then put them both together to make one video for the customer, so that it sort of cuts in perfectly well. It's quite a bit of work, I've got to say. It takes me half an hour, I'd say, to do each quote to get it done properly. But I do think it's one of the things that sets us apart is we really go into a lot of detail on how we put these quotes together, and then we do video editing to really push it together. In fact, all of the quotes we issue, they're quite interactive, so we include videos that talk the customer through the entire process start to finish, and edit all of that and give them a finished video. One of the things we're looking at doing now is adding our own CAD designer that's going to go out and do the measurements for us and produce the CAD sort of plans for the installation. So at the minute we might use things like this. This is what we might have at the moment, where we've got a basic sort of plan of what we're going to be installing. So this one's one that we're doing in Dagenham, and you can just see what we're doing, where things are going to be positioned. And this is one of the nice things that we can offer our customers now and go through. We have a delivery. Now, this, I believe, is for a project we're doing this week for a company called EV Parks, and it's for Isabel. We're putting in some new EV parking bays, and this is the stencil that they want to get installed on the ground. Now, normally we make our own out of a recycled PVC, whereas this one is quite, it'll do. It's quite light and easy going. So I said a PVC, I meant an ABS. We normally use an ABS for ours. So normally we'd use a recycled ABS and we cut ours out. It's around 2 mil thick, and then that just prevents any sort of flaring up like we get here, sort of rolling and curling. This one, what we're going to do, we'll leave it, I think it even says on there, we've got to remove the curl, unroll it, leave it to go flat. Now what we're going to do with these is essentially spray this onto the ground in the middle of the EV bay. What we'd really like to get though is a copy of the DXF file, because once we've got that, we can actually cut this out on our laser cutter, and then we can make this out of a recycled ABS, which would be a lot firmer, a lot more durable. So fantastic, we'll use this one to start with. We're going to ask for a DXF file if we can do, or a PDF. To be fair, we can turn that into a DXF purely off of a PDF as well. Look, I've got one or two more quotes to do, and I've got to be honest, it's pretty dull for videography and content, and I am just feeling a little bit drained now, to be honest. I've spent all day in the office and I'm a little bit drained, so I think we're going to call it there for Tuesday. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Hey guys, it is Wednesday morning. We're heading up to the yard. Wednesday morning and we're in the yard because today I have to just check everything's ready. Remember I said yesterday we had a stencil turn up, or tomorrow we're line marking that on the floor, but before we do we actually have to jet wash the ground first. So we've got a towable pressure washer system. I just need to check it's ready to run, all watered up, ready to go. Let's just wheel it out 1 minute. Look at that, the boys have even tidied up. This is looking so much tidier in here now. Way, way better. This is what we're after, this thing right here. Now, I haven't used this in quite a while. Whoa, it's heavy. Oh, and the dog's arrived. Right, let's try and get this thing started. Now it has got an electric start, but the battery in the button, the button's no more. So let's see if it actually pull starts. We've got 25 meters, I think, of cable on this. So quite a fair bit, but it's a big diesel engine. So we've got like a decompression lever on the top of it just up here. We have to press that down. So the throttle on these is actually at the back, and just pull that towards us. Let's give her a quick go. Whoa. We'll give her a go. All right, we're happy with that. Cleaned up the back of the little go-kart. That's about all we needed for this. I'm happy with this test. Next up, I'm gonna head to the office quickly. Then we're gonna head to Coventry to meet up with my friend Ash, get some paint from Ash, try some brand new products. Let's give it a go. Let's get on the road. So Ash has just said to me that they've got a brand new glow-in-the-dark paint, and we're going to have a quick look and see exactly what that one looks like. As I said, I've heard real mixed things about what it looks like on the road during the day versus night time. So this is it. So these two different shades, or?
Yeah. So you've got the almond green.
Yep.
Which gives the best results.
Okay.
It also comes in white and yellow.
Yep.
But the white and yellow gives you about 6 hours of glow after dark.
Okay.
The green, if applied correctly,
Yeah.
will give you about 10 hours.
Fantastic. Let's have a look at it in the dark. Check that out.
Right, and if you want to come in here and shut the door.
That's amazing. That is so good, isn't it? What does it cost for tins of this one?
Very expensive, Alex.
Is it really?
Let's not go there. For a 20 kg tin, it's about £1,800–1,900.
Oh my God. Wow, that's a lot more than I thought. Yeah, that's expensive. I think.
Very expensive.
It would take 10 of them. God, that is solid actually, when you feel it.
Yeah.
That's really solid.
Well, this has been sealed on top.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'd always put a sealer over. It's just we wouldn't normally prime the bottom. But maybe we will start priming the bottom if it helps it adhere better.
That's going to be difficult because that's been sealed on top.
Yeah.
If you try that bit over there.
Well, that's the finish we want though with seal. That'd be perfect. That would be great to give a go.
The current primer is that. Can you see these bubbles?
Yeah. What's causing?
I'm not sure because we've tried a different roller.
We would use a foam roller when we do our primers normally.
So we've got a foam roller as well. And
that's what we'd. Yeah, we'd always go down with the foam. We find when we do the paint, we use a short pile, and that works lovely.
Yeah.
But when we do the sealers or primers or anything like that, we always use a foam. We find it just gives us a better finish for some reason. I don't know why, but it certainly seems to give us a better finish. But something like this would be great for the paints going down though. That'll work an absolute treat, we find. White and yellow, yeah. We've been using Ash now for a year, 18 months. Service, so good. Right, we are going to head back now. Seen Ash, always great to catch up with him. And the boys, I believe now, finished at Milton Keynes. They should be on their way to Aylesbury, I believe. Let's just close that boot down. Whew. I have had my haircut, as you can see. Still looking a little bit disheveled though. Let's jump over, in fact, instead of sharing the car journey with you, let's jump over straight to Aylesbury now and I will show you what we're up to. Now I said Aylesbury, but I know I mean central Oxford. I just got it wrong. These are the parking T's that we're going to be replacing. What we've got to do is just clean them up first. You can see Lee just giving them a bit of a sweep, bit of a tidy up. We don't want any dirt underneath it. And then John's just checking with the residents, make sure everybody's actually happy with where the lines are going to go. As we're spraying them in, John's using one of our electric ES range. I believe it's the ES 1000 we're using here. Nice little battery powered machine with an acrylic line marking paint. Lee's just putting out the numbers, and again, making sure everyone's happy and agreeable to it. We're going to spray these down, give them all the numbers that they need, and this will space the parking bays out and stop the residents from parking in each other's spaces, and hopefully save a few arguments on this street. But we'll see. That's it, job complete. We are off to the next one. Alright, so a really nice, successful meeting with Ash. Always great to catch up with him. Saw some brand new products. We saw the brand new glow-in-the-dark paints, which I think is pretty interesting. I've had a lot of people say bad things about it, but I don't think they've actually tried it. I think they've just seen pictures of it or read about it somewhere else. I don't think they've actually applied it on the ground. As Ash was saying though, one of the key things to consider with it is that you don't necessarily want to use it for main car parking spaces and lines. Maybe you want to use it for pedestrian areas or for, say, T-junctions in between car parking spaces. Now the benefit of doing it that way, using it just as the T-junctions and for pedestrian sort of walkways, one, you're going to use an awful lot less, but two, it's not actually designed necessarily to be used just as a main highway line. Using it for, say, pedestrian segregation from forklifts or from vehicles, lorries, HGVs, whatever. If you've got a walkway down a yard, for example, that's a great location to use it. But also, given that it's quite an expensive product. Now, when you install it, Ash was saying you actually need to install an acrylic line underneath it. So an acrylic line, thank you very much, an acrylic line is something we would spray just from one of our normal airless systems. Now what we would do with that, that'll cover you, an average 25 kilo tin will probably cover you somewhere around 350 linear meters. They go a long way. However, the glow-in-the-dark paint costs 18 times more. You're approaching a couple of £1,000 a tin, and it only goes around half the distance. We're talking 150 to 180 linear meters for almost £2,000. But we're on our way to the next job, so let's cut over to that one and I will show you what we're installing over in Aylesbury. Let's have a look. Made it. Let's get back to the office. Got a few little bits to do, a few quotes to do, catch up and make sure everything else is good. Boys have got on well over in Aylesbury. Everything looks great. I've got a parcel delivery to pick up. I think that's about it. Let's head into the office. It's the end of the day, Wednesday. Just got back into the office and I have a lovely little letter from IMHX, the logistics show, which says they're already 15 months away. Sent me a nice little, look at that, it's even personalised with my name on the front. You can book your stand on the back, and I have a new, a nice moleskin A5 little organiser. That'd be fantastic. Actually, I'll use this tomorrow because I'm on site visits tomorrow. That'd be fantastic. We are actually going to be exhibiting at the trade show, so I think it's got the dates on here for September. Yeah, here we go. 9th to 11th of September 2025, the IMHX 25 event at the NEC in Birmingham. We will be there, I believe, stand. We are heading off to the IMHX event 2025. I will find out our stand number and tell you exactly where we are. In fact, let's do a cutaway to the stand, because I know I'm going to find it later on, film it, get you guys a cutaway. That's exactly where we are. So when you need to find us in September, I mean, hopefully you will anyway, because you'd only come to the show to see us anyway, obviously. I was thinking what we're going to do in the trade show. Now, I've only done one before. I did the facilities show at XL. I've booked 3 for next year. I'm actually at a robotics and logistics show. Now, I'm in the robotics section because that was the only stand left available. I've got this show, which we've actually booked in time. We've got, you know, a decent sized 12 square meter stand, quite a big space actually. And then I've got one more, which I can't tell you about yet. Anyway, that's it for Wednesday. Tomorrow, back out on the road. I think I've got client meetings in Birmingham, and tomorrow's the Stoke-on-Trent. In fact, tomorrow's meeting, my first one, is actually for a paint manufacturing company. But I'll tell you all about that one tomorrow morning. That's it for Wednesday. I'll see you then. It's Friday evening, it's like 7:30 at night, and we've been rained off today at the... head is spinning. My wife just sent me up to the farm with a cup of tea to have some therapy time on my own. This is my therapy time. The dog's wandering around and I'm just gonna sit here, have a cup of tea, chill out. We got rained off today on 2 jobs. We had one at a park home in Bedfordshire that got rained off. We've got another one in Preston that got rained off as well. On top of that, I mean, that, you know, that's fine. I can deal with that. It's just weather. That happens. We've had a few orders through as well, which is nice, but the real kicker is I issued a court claim against a company back at Christmas time when they hadn't paid a bill, and they didn't file a defence to my claim. And so I won the case by default. We never had to go to court. I won the claim and they got issued with a county court judgment. Now, the county court judgment could be removed from their file provided they made their payment within the 30 days. So this company owed me just under 25, 26, somewhere around the £26,000 mark. Anyway, they lost the claim, obviously, by not filing a defence. The court awarded in my favour, and subsequently, within the 30-day period, they paid me the £26,000 that they owed me. Now I thought all's well, happy with the result, we got paid for the work we've done, and we can move on from this amicably. Great, everyone's happy. Except the company we put the claim in against have now come up with a defence, and they filed a submission to stay the execution and have another hearing where they are preparing a defence. And so I've now got to go back to court next week or week after to go to this preliminary hearing to decide if their case will be heard and if they can have a set aside on the CCJ. Now the problem with this is they've already paid me the £26,000 they owed me. And because we're going back to court, if they get a set aside, now they've filed a defence at this point, so arguably they are going to get a set aside because the court will essentially say, yes, we want to hear the defence. Now when that happens, that means I've actually got to refund them the full £26,000 they paid me, because we go back to square one in the sense that no judgment has now been passed. The CCJ has wiped off their credit profile and they say, thank you very much, Alex. You need to refund them the £26,000 until you win the case again. The problem with that, obviously, is that when they paid us, we managed to pay all of our suppliers, all of our paints, all of our labour and everything else that was owed to us. Or, that we owed out. So we've managed to pay everything off with that money, and now I've got to refund it, which means I've got to come up with £26,500 in a week to hand over to somebody who fucking owes me the money. That's a kick in the teeth, that one. Anyway, I've got to act professional, but also I've got to hand them back the £26,000 they owe me so that we can go back to court. Now this essentially means I've also got to pay a lawyer and come up with 26.5 grand within a week, which cost me an absolute fortune. Now this is a very, very big company. They can afford it. I can't. Anyway, I got back, I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself about it, and I thought, I don't know what the hell to do. I just said to my wife, I'm going to go to bed. I have such a headache, and I don't know what to do. And she said, you know what, burying your head isn't going to change it. You're going to have to come up with the 26 grand, and you're going to have to argue it in court and win again. Sometimes you have an awful lot of setbacks in business, and it feels like you're going nowhere. There's so many things that can and sometimes do just go wrong. Don't get me wrong, there are times when things go great. You get great sales in and you're feeling fantastic, and of course everybody says, I need a pay rise, I need more money. But then again, when things go wrong, you're the only one there that's able to deal with it and has to foot it. And it's a tough position. I tell you what, it is a hard place to be at the top of a company running a business. It is a tough place to be in. Really is. Loads of rewards if you get it right. But I mean, there's 99 problems facing you every single time something goes right. This is just another one in the saga. Anyway, I figured I'm not going to moan about it. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. My wife doesn't do sympathy either, so she won't feel sorry for me either. But I've got my buddy here, just knocking about together, cup of tea. I think we're going to call it quits for the weekend. I think that's it. I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm going to, off camera, curse and swear, maybe make a voodoo doll or whatever else. Anyway, it has actually been a good week. I've enjoyed it, apart from today. And once I've had a cup of tea, copious amounts of alcohol, I'll feel better again. I'm going to see you guys bright and early Monday morning when we are off to London Luton Airport and somewhere else in central London that I've got to get to. And the boys are doing a job for Forestry England. Anyway, that's for Monday's video, so let's call it a weekend. I will see you guys in the next one.